What is up, YouTube? It's MetroGame75 here. Today we're playing Sakura Alien, a new game that came out today. Well, actually, it came out yesterday. Alright, let's get started. This is the newest one from Cloud Games. Space is really incredible. It's impossibly vast infinity, so in fact, and it's expanding all the time. I've always liked the Stargaze, but what really got me invested in space was my older cousin, CG. He was an even bigger space nut than I am, if that can be believed. I bet he's referring CG from, you know, the Sakura beach. When I was younger, CG used to take me hiking. We could go up, look up the stars. He gave me a collapsible telescope for my 12th birthday. It was pretty cheap in telescope, and it wasn't all that powerful, but I cherished it. Those days I spent with my cousin out in the sticks were truly precious. A lot of time has passed since then, though, and I'm not wide-eyed, easily impressed little kid I used to be. I'm 19. I've since moved from the countryside to attend university in Tokyo. I'm studying physics thanks to my childhood fascination with the stars, and I have dreams of becoming a researcher when I graduate. I'd love to work for AXA one day and oversee satellites as they're launched into orbit, you know. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Nothing certain in life is best on focus on the here and the now. I don't want to end up disappointed, and if I'm doing all in my power to make my dreams come true, it'll take things one step at a time. Since I lived out in the sticks all my life, moving to Tokyo was initially a huge culture shock. Tokyo's busy 24/7 with a huge amount of buildings and it's wreathed in perpetually flickering lights. I live in a rundown apartment block with a bunch of other guys around my age, and I'm situated on the 3rd floor in a teeny room with a tatami floor that overlook a parking lot and a bunch of Chinese restaurants. Smell the fried beef loin and pork belly wafts through my window every evening without fail, which ensures I always get to sleep hungry. I live in a pretty busy area, and cars go by here every hour of the day. In the beginning of their constant humming used to bother me, but I've gotten used to it, you know. I've been in Tokyo for 18 months now, and the regular hustle and bustle has come old hat. My passion for space hasn't waned during these months, but I've not had many opportunities to put the telescope CG gave me to good use. I still have it, old and worn though it is, but Tokyo's night skies are so crowded it's hard to get a good view of the stars. There's too much light pollution to contend with, not to mention all the actual pollution. The skies here are never as clear as they are back home. That's the one thing I miss about the countryside. I wasn't too cut up about everything about my childhood home on account of its critical lack of decent shops and awful public transport, but the clear skies were something special. I think I took them for granted. I had no idea before I left Tokyo what I'd be saying goodbye to. It's not all doom and gloom, though. I can't stargaze as often as I like, but I do have occasional opportunity to pursue the night sky. My university has a club devoted solely for stargazing, which of course I signed up for in a snap. I figured that alongside my new club members, will be making regular trips outside the countryside to the camp beneath the stars, like I did with CG in my childhood, when my dreams of a camaraderie under the stars were doused when the reality of the situation hit me. My university astronomy club is, to put it politely, something somewhat lacking, and to put it rather less politely, it's almost a non-entity. I'm surprised it's still running, given its list of members stops short at a measly 2. There's club leader, a cheerleader girl called Akasaka, Hiyori 1 year my senior, and me, Takagi, Haru, and that's it. The end. We're the only members of the astronomy club. I'm stuck dealing with Hiyori all alone, and boy is she a lot to deal with. For example, what does she look like? Hey Haru, it's good to see you again this morning. Oh boy. Glump. Such a surprise as I feel a soft sensation push up against my arm. Probably shouldn't be surprised as I am, given how often this scene plays out, but it shocks me all the same. I've only stepped outside, and I'm already being assaulted. Hey, how are you? Haru, are you doing well? I hope you've been looking after yourself. It's been chilly lately, hasn't it? You ought to make yourself warm. Just make sure you warm up warm, and make sure you eat a lot of nutrition food too. Hiyori starts babbling 19 to the dozen as she talks, as she always does. It's hard to get any words when this girl is around, but I had to at least make an effort. Hey, Hiyori. I tried to wrench my arm free of Hiyori's pincer like it grabs to a veil. She's clinging to me hard as though she's afraid that I might disappear, which being fair, wouldn't be a woolly baseline fear. Well, baseless fear. I do find Hiyori's company quite overwhelming. She's more touchy-feely than any girl I've met before. Not that I know all that many girls, and we haven't known one another all that long. It's not like we're childhood friends or anything. She has no sense of boundaries whatsoever. To be honest, I find Hiyori clinginess kind of annoying, endearing. She can be a bit too handsy at times, but a bit of a defection every now and then is nice. She does have a tendency to take things a bit too far, though. She's clinging to me pretty tightly. Do you think you could let go of me, Hiyori? My arm is starting to go numb. But Haru... Hiyori pouts, her eyes wide, boring into my own. Hair looks pretty plain with her marble brown hair and brown eyes, but in terms of personality, she really is out there. Is she overcompensating for her average looks? I've often pondered this during the months I've known her, but that's the mean thought, so I'll keep it to myself. I have to cling to you to warm you up. It's a cold day, and oh. Hiyori squeezed my hand between her own, then squeezed an alarm. Why don't you wear gloves? The weather report said it'll be below 0. It's alright, I've used to live in the countryside. It got even colder there. I'm used to it. Wow, that's so cold. You always act so tough. Damn. Is that a roast? Hiyori giggles, then snuggles even closer to me. She lets go of my hand. Thank goodness, but her fingers are quick to coil once more around my arm. She pulls my body towards her, press her cheek to my curve of my shoulders, then beams. But you don't need to act tough around me. We are friends after all. If you are cold, just say the word and I'll warm you up in a snap. My body temperature is a little higher than your average person's, though that should be expected given I'm not an average person at all. You should already know that by this point though, so I won't bore you with the details. Yeah, thanks. Hiyori might be looking completely normal to an outsider, but the maintains quite forcefully, in fact, that she is not in fact an ordinary girl. She believes instead that she's an alien. I was pretty unnerved when Hiyori first told me about this insane theory, and to be honest, I'm still unnerved. I thought about quitting the astronomy club when she dropped that bombshell, but I wasn't able to do it. I love Stargazing too much to pass it up, and while Hiyori is strange, I don't think she'll mean any ill. She's a nice girl, really, if a bit too attentive to my needs, and I definitely don't dislike her. If it weren't for me, the astronomy club would have only one member, and it would be forced to disband. I know much her club means to Hiyori. I hate to be the harbinger of its demise, even if it's on its last legs. I'm willing to tough out Hiyoriness at least until the end of the semester. But hey, Haru, can you maybe like not flirt with your girlfriend so early in the morning? You're going to make me puke, man. What? That's right. You don't have to show off like that. Are you trying to rub it in? Diago. Oh, that name reminds me of that drifter. Kosuke. Guys with girlfriends are the worst. They think they're all that just because they have a bit more luck than us. Normies really are the worst. They should all drop dead. Jeez. I sigh. It's such a cold day. My breath, as it escapes my mouth, turns out white and gauzy like steam. I was hoping to steer Hiyori away from the apartment before my housemates woke up, but I'm all out of luck. I've already been spotted. Koichi is glaring at me like he wants to punch a hole through my face, and Kosuke just spat on the sidewalk. How charming, not? And Kosuke wonders why he doesn't have a girlfriend. Not that I'm dating Hiyori for all she clings to me. Oh, hi there, Haru's housemates. Needless of my housemates' death glares, Hiyori shoots them a cheery smile. It's nice to see you. Make sure you wrap up warm, alright? It's very cold. I hate for you to get sick, and I'd hate it even more if you gave my dear Haru pneumonia. Hey guys, I waved to my housemates with my free hand, then actually myself from both Hiyori and this awkward misunderstanding. I think you got the wrong idea. Hiyori and I aren't dating. I'm beginning, but Kelsey cuts me off. Like hell you are. What girl clings to a guy if she doesn't have a thing for him? I'm not stupid, you know. I can see what's going on. This girl totally has the hots for you. Kosuke's right. It's so obvious. You can't trick us with that. We're not dating. Bullcrap. She only dines to look at us because we live with you. I don't care one way or the other if you want to flirt, but don't do it right in front of us, man. It's rude. No, we're really not dating. I try again, but to a little avail. Oh, spare me the excuses. You're starting to piss me off. Let's go, guys. Sure, anything to get away from these two lovebirds. Chosuke spits on the ground again before departing, skulking along in his beaten-up coat behind Koichi and Daigo. I watch them head off down the street, then sigh. It's not yet 8, and I already feel exhausted. I'm tired of being odds with my housemates, thanks to Hiyori. I used to get along with Koichi pretty well, until Hiyori began to clinch to me like this. I don't think she intended to drive a wedge between me and the guys, but that's how it ended up. Maybe I feel less bitter about this if we were actually dating, but we're not. It's all genuine misunderstanding, but how can I tell my housemates that they refuse to listen to me? Hell, if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't listen to me either. Hiyori's closeness does look awful suspicious. If only they understood that Hiyori was a few screws loose, that might salvage some goodwill from the wreckage of our capsized friendships. But then again, maybe not. I shouldn't hold out any hope. Haru? Hiyori peers at me, her arms still loop through mine. Are you alright? You've gone very quiet. You're not cold, are you? No, I'm fine. I'm just thinking about... I consider scolding Hiyori, then think better of it. She never listened to me. I doubt it'd do much good, and in any case, I don't want to upset her. I like to think of myself as a gentleman. Oh, it's nothing really. I force a smile, then try to shrug Hiyori's grasping arm off of mine. Would you mind letting go? It'll be hard to walk to university with you clinging like that. I don't want to be late. Oh, right, you have a point. Oh, she do got some nice racks right there. Sorry. When I see you, it just can't help myself. The embarrassed reaction of humans are simply too charming. You're human too, you know. I mumble under my breath, but Hiyori doesn't seem to hear me. She's good at conveniently blotting out remarks that conflicts with her world view. At least she lets go of me at long last, which is something of mercy. I do wish she reclaimed her grip on me earlier, though it would have saved me a lot of scrutinizing glares from my once was a trio of friends. Shall we head over to the campus then? Yes, let's. Hiyori beams at me, her choppy brown hair shifting about her face. Let's go together. We have a lot to discuss. We still need to plan out the finer details of tonight's hotspot party. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that. It's good that you have me to remind you about these things then, isn't it? I swear you humans would forget your heads if you weren't screwed onto your necks. How your race became the dominant force upon this planet, I shall never know. It is really a mystery. It isn't really. Darwin did a lot of good work. Let's find all that. Have you heard of natural selection? Oh really, I'm not good with the complicated stuff like that. Hiyori falls into step with me as we walk over to the campus. Then the university about half an hour away. We take the bus or the train, but I prefer walking. I like to get a bit of exercise in every day. I don't want to become a total slob beholden to the convenience of the public transport. So about the hotspot party, Hiyori says once we're exhausted the subject of natural selection, I think we'll have it in the astronomy club room after we are done stargazing on the roof. I'll start cooking pretty late, maybe around 2100. Freaking military time, damn it. How does that sound? Do you think you can hold out until then? That should be fine, yeah. I offer Hiyori a small smile, and touch her by her thoughtfulness. That one thing I can't fault her for. She's a considerate person, in some regards. I'll eat a big lunch that should tide me over, plus your cooking delicious. It's always worth waiting for. I'm not just saying that either. Hiyori's cooking is one of the plushes of being a member of the astronomy club. Go word the astronomy club on paper. Hiyori treats the club room more like a restaurant. Hiyori made chilled noodles in the summer, and now it's winter. It's been preparing all kinds of warm dishes. There's a brazier in the club room for grilling meat and stirring soups, and she even has a mini fridge to store ingredients. The fridge is particularly full of veggies, plus the huge plastic cartons of barley tea Hiyori likes so much. For all like growls about Hiyori, she sure knows how to make the club room cozy. You charmer, you. Hiyori giggles, then nudges me in the side with her elbow. You know exactly what to say to girls to win them over. Not that I'm complaining. Your tactics are even effective on me, though I am no ordinary girl. Yeah. It's always come back to this with Hiyori. Whenever I start thinking I might enjoy her company, she has to ruin the moment. Sometimes I wonder why Hiyori is so desperate to stand out. While it's common to want to be special, people generally shed this desire when they get older. Fuck. Could it be a holdover from Hiyori's childhood? Maybe her parents were neglectful. That might explain Hiyori's insatiable desire for attention. Not that I can say for certain. I don't know much about Hiyori's family. She's a chatterbox, but she hardly ever speaks about them. So, do you have any requests for tonight's hotspot? Is there anything in particular you want? Not really, though I do like enoki mushrooms. Yeah, those are practically a given. Who doesn't put those in hotspot? That's a good point. Then, I weigh up my options all while running a hand through my hair. What about rice cake? I'm pretty fond of that. Sure thing, I can pick up some from the supermarket alongside the rest of the ingredients. And what about the broth? Do you have any special requests? Anything's fine, so as long as it's not too spicy. Now that is a pity. You know how much I love spice, especially when it gets in your nose. That's not good. Oh dear. It feels good when you're eating a lot of hot food and you start to sneeze. But I guess most humans don't like that. No, we most certainly do not. You're so weird, Hiyori. That should go without saying. I am an alien after all. Yeah, I know. She told me about it enough times. Not that I believe her. Her family is Akasaka, for goodness sake. That's about as basic as you can get. She's not that far removed from the Tanakas or the Suzukis of this world. How many families called Akasaka dwell in space? Not many. I'd be willing to bet. Her family name is something like, oh, I don't know, Cloud Walker. I might be more willing to take her wild claims about her alien lineage more seriously, but she's way too normal. Everything about Hiyori is normal, really safe for these delusions of hers. Sometimes I wish Hiyori wasn't such a good cook. Then I might have... Oh dear. My bad. When she started spouting all this crazy nonsense. I think it's too late for that now, though. I decided to stick with Hiyori, and now I'm in it for the long haul. At least her cooking's good consolating price, even for waffle about aliens unnerves me. Hey Haru. Hiyori's footsteps come to a halt. She peers at me, linking her arms through mine once more and pouts. Why aren't you saying anything? I don't have anything to say. But I just told you I was an alien. Doesn't that warrant some kind of reaction? You tell me you're an alien every day. I gotten used to it. How can you get used to it? Hiyori pouts. It should be a revelation, particularly for a guy like you who loves space. Doesn't it excite you? It's lost its luster. Haru, I don't think you're treating this with the gravitas it deserves. In fact, sometimes I think you don't believe me at all. Maybe you think I'm teasing or lying, but I'm not in fact being honest. Everything I say is true. I believe that you believe everything you're saying is true, but as for me, you have your doubts. A few, yeah, I clear my throat. I don't want to be mean to Hiyori, not after she's been so kind to me, but I don't want to indulge her. You don't look anything like an alien. You seem like a regular human girl to me, in every regard. That is what you think, but how can you say that for certain? You've never seen my whole body. If you knew what I looked like beneath my clothes, you might just reconsider. Right, I frown. Is that supposed to be a pickup line? Is that how you're interpreting it? Hiyori smiles vaguely. Maybe it is. I don't think I'd mind if you saw me naked. I don't trust other humans, but you're special to me. Am I not special to you? Hiyori peers at me, her expression winsome. We are friends, aren't we? We are sure, but it's because we're friends. There are some kind of things we shouldn't do, such as getting naked in front of one another. That far surpasses the boundaries of mere friendship, in my eyes at least. Now we've really gotten hurry or we'll be late for class. I'm going to run. What? Hey, Haru! Sorry. Hiyori calls after me as I take off, but the soles of my sneakers slapping against the dull, gray sidewalk. I can't see Hiyori's face anymore, but I bet she's pouting. Oh well, if she really is an alien, she can really summon her spaceship or something. It's not that this will ever happen. Like that's ever gonna happen. There's no way Hiyori's an alien, and I've no interest in humoring her. It is quite frankly impossible. Oh boy. I eventually arrive on campus, no thanks to Hiyori, and head over to the first lecture of the day. I take a seat in the middle of the auditorium and take notes while my professor talks. I'm pretty passionate about my education, even this far into my course, which is more than can be said for some of my classmates. A few of my fellow students are slumped in seats at the very back of my room, trying to catch a comfort of 40 winks. I wonder they stay up late last night partying. That's not an uncommon occurrence, even during weekdays. I guess it's Friday today. My peers just couldn't wait for the weekend. I don't really go to parties myself, unlike the others. Kyoichi used to invite me out when I first moved into our apartment, but Hiyori's presence put paid to that pretty sharpish. Hiyori might be one of the only friends I have, and I'm not entirely sure if she's my friend or somebody I simply endure. I definitely don't hate her, but it's complicated. Our relationship isn't nearly as complicated as physics. However, I have to focus so I don't lose track of what the professor is saying. I'm kept busy in lectures and seminars and for the lion's share of the day. Fridays are particularly hectic for me. It's a little after 1800 when I finish with my final class and the sky is already dark. Since it's January, the sun sets pretty early. The campus is usually pitch black in half an hour or so. I feel tired thanks to all that frantic note-taking, and it's non-limbing. I haul myself off to the astronomy club room. The astronomy club was located in and out of the way spot on the campus, a bit behind the library. This is the oldest block of the university and it's dire for need for refurbishment. The floors are wooden and the creaks when step on like something from a horror movie. The windows, meanwhile, are dirty from years of neglect and all the doors creak. The building is so woefully dated, I think it really might be a relic from the Taisho era. Taisho era. It has a really spooky vibe, particularly late at night. I would be surprised if it were haunted by a ghost or two. Not that I believe in ghosts, of course, they're even less scientific than aliens. There is, at least, a possibility that aliens might exist, though none have been recorded. Sorry, Hiyori, but you don't count. There's no hard evidence, however, that suggests ghosts might be real. All fortune tellers are crooks, no matter what they say. Seances are a bunch of baloney. I know that logically, and yet... Freak. The floor creaks ominously beneath me, while it sends a shiver down my spine. This building really does give the creeps. It's so old, only a few rooms are used. The tiny clubs with hardly any members get shunted here, like the Karuta Club, which commands the ground floor, and the Oculent Club. I don't really interact with members from either club. The members of the Karuta Club will all be smacking cards around, dressed in traditional Japanese attire. They really go all out. And the last I heard of the Oculent Club, they're busy trying to summon a demon. What the hell? I don't think their attempts are going too well, but I have no word of commiseration to offer them. This place is eerie enough without it becoming a meetup place for the denizen of hell. Eventually, make it to the third floor where the astronomy club's located. I open the door, which are parts with the raffle like a dying man's last breath, and let myself inside. Hey, Haru. Hiyori greets me and smiles cheerfully. Right now, she's nearly by the fridge, which she's stuffing with the packs of meat from a couple of career bags at her feet. She swivels her head to look at me, still crouched. It's good to see. Come in and have a seat. You don't need to tell me that. I was planning on it. I closed the door behind me, then deposited my bag down on the ground. Jeez, I sink onto the well worn out couch with a sigh. Not even bothers to remove my coat. That sounds too much like a hard work. I'm beat. Did you have a busy day? Yeah, it was pretty intense. My hands ached from taking too many notes. You could always use a laptop, you know. that might make things easier. A pencil and a paper is so old school. I guess. I lean back on the couch and look up at the ceiling, frowning. It's rare for Hiyori to come out with anything so sensible, but even she has her moments. I prefer using a pen and paper, though. It feels easier to take in information if I have to write it out each character. Plus, in what I'm used to, we didn't use laptops at my school very much. You went to a small school in the countryside? Right. It was really tiny. There were maybe 80 kids there, if there. Wow, 80 kids? Hiyori whistles. That is small. Coming here must have been a culture shock. It was, I guess. Not that I'm utterly unfamiliar with the city. I wasn't a total pumpkin. I guess the old habits die hard, though. I still don't comply typing, which might be a problem. Come to think of it, given I want to work on satellites when I graduate, I laugh weakly, but in my sleepy state, I laugh soon transmute to a yawn. When I blink, I can feel tears beating in my eyes. My. Hiyori shuts the fridge and the stand. She serves me with a sweet smile. Her head tilted and says, "You really must be tired. Perhaps you should have a quick nap." Is that alright? I don't want to ruin our plans for tonight. Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. I can wake up in an hour and we can go Stargazing then. The stars aren't going to go anywhere. In fact, it's better if we wait. It's a bit too cloudy to break the telescope out now. Right, that sounds good. I yawn again, but I stiff file it with the palm of my right hand. There's a red welt on the inside of my index finger. I know that must be from gripping my pencil too tight. I get colossus or pretty often. Maybe I have sensitive skin? I wonder if this is a sign that I should start using my laptop during lectures after all. It seems a waste to have one and not use it. It costs quite a lot of money and my family isn't the wealthiest. I yawn again. The couch in the astronomy room is pretty soft despite it being so old, and its comforting embrace is lulling me into the world of dreams. My eyelids fall shut and breath soon begins to even out. I think I'll take you up on that nap. Wake me up when you go to the roof again, alright? I don't want to miss out. I know. You're even crazier about the stars than I am, and that's where I came from. Hiyori giggles. Leave everything in my capable hands. I'll look after you, Haru. For now, you should rest. Thanks, that sounds pretty good. It's what for this yawn deeper than the last that my science finally begins to fade. Darkness consumes me and my thoughtfulness all slid into the abyss. Hey Haru, wakey, you've had a full hour. Huh? I'm stirred from my torpor by a hand on my shoulder and a gentle exhalation of air against my cheek. I shiver. Slowly I crack one eye open, then the other. Hey there, Haru. Hiyori greets me with a smile. Her expression soft and gentle like a watercolor painting. She's kneeling in front of the couch, her face only inches away from mine. Her hands are resting on her knees, her head tilted on one side. We're so close our lips would brush if I were to lean in. But of course I don't do that. I don't know how precisely I feel about Hiyori, but I don't think I want to rush into any kind of relationship with her. That sounds like more trouble than it's worth. Still, it's not a bad way to be woken up. Being roused by my alarm clock during the cold, wintry morning is certainly less pleasant than being shaken into alertness by a smiling Hiyori. Hey there, yourself. I return Hiyori's greeting with one of my own, then sit up, my limbs feeling a little stiffy after napping for so long. And I still feel a touch fatigue. I yawn, one hand pressed to my mouth. My eyes squeeze shut, tears beating on my lashes. When I have been feeling so sleepy lately, it must be the season. Winter always tires me out. It's so chilly, and it gets so dark so early. Not that the latter point bothers me so much. Staring at the sun only hurts your eyes, but looking up at the moon can be soothing therapeutic experience. I've always liked staring at the stars. Speaking of which, are you ready to head up to the roof? I'm ready when you are. Hiyori retrieves her own foldable telescope, which is more powerful and more expensive model than mine, and tuck it in under her arm. Then she rises to her feet. Shall we head up? How shall we head on up? The clouds have cleared up a bunch of since you started snoozing. It's a great night for stargazing. Great, I'm glad to hear that. I yawned again then to get to my own feet. Let's go and take a look. Yes, sir, roger that. Now, why are you calling me sir? You're the club leader, not me, and you're a year older than I am. If anything, I should be the one bowing and scraping to you. I guess that is true. I wouldn't feel right blossoming you around, though I value you too much to treat you like that. And besides, you're the only member left in this club other than myself. I can't scare you away. I'm relying on you to stick on by my side, even if everyone else has left me. That sounds kind of needy, Hiyori. I am needy. I'm not ashamed of admitting it. I need you. Well, gee. I glance away at my face turning red. Well, I'm aware that I'm indispensable to Hiyori, given my status as her sole fellow club member, but hearing it out spelled out like that is kind of embarrassing. Hiyori sounds so grateful I wouldn't be surprised if she started groveling over at my feet. Not that she could right now, given the telescope wedged beneath her arm. I doubt she wants to drop it. It's a very delicate piece of machinery. I should change the subject for both the sake of my stammering heart and Hiyori's telescope, which is just as indispensable to the astronomy club as I am. Its destruction would put a bit of tamper on the right of the night. I'm happy to hear that, I guess. Right now, however, we should be worried about who owes who what. Let's just look at the stars. Alrighty then. Hiyori giggles. Let's get this show on the road, or in case the roof, the last one there's a rotten egg. Ha ha ha. Half an hour later. And she looks nice. Wow, the stars all so clear tonight. It almost feels like we weren't even in Tokyo. We could be out in the countryside, away from all the lights and the cars. It's incredible. Hiyori stares into the vast expanse of space which hangs above us, her right eye trained through the eyepiece of her telescope. The telescope is set up by the edge of the roof, its optical tube tilted back and its thick lens directed at the sky. Hiyori has been hogging the telescope ever since we got onto the roof, but I can't really fault her for it. The telescope does belong to her. I'm fine with waiting for my turn. Venus looked so close tonight, it almost felt like I could reach out and touch it. I wonder if that's an omen of good fortune. Though Hiyori's cheery exclamations are making me itch with curiosity, I want to take a look at Venus too. Not that I haven't a dozen of times in the past. She used to point all the planets and the constellations out to me during our walks. It's thanks to the tutelage that I've become so good at identifying the facts of our solar system. I pored over the planets more often than the most. But I've yet to grow tired of it. Space is an endless source of fascination to me, perhaps because of space itself is infinite. There's only so much you can see of it, even with a telescope, but new discoveries are being made by scientists all the time. I killed to get my hands on one of the heavy-duty telescopes they use in AXA. Well, maybe not quite. I don't like the sight of blood, but there's not much I wouldn't be prepared to do. I guess you could say I'm obsessed with the stars. This is so cool. On this point, at least Hiyori and I are complete agreement. I don't think we all have all that much in common, but our shared love of space binds us together. I could never bring myself to quit the astronomy club, no matter how much touchy-feely Hiyori may be. These quiet moments spent together, observing space from the roof of the university, are all incredibly precious to me. It is pretty chilly though. I jam my head inside my pockets, trying to fend off the worst of the cold, and tip my head back. The moon greets my wandering eyes, round and white like an egg. I can't see its ridge too well, but I bet I could with the aid of Hiyori's telescope. The moon is easy to spot, but no less fascinating for it. It's the Earth's only natural satellite, and its fifth largest satellite in the solar system. Other planets have more moons. Jupiter, for example, has 79. Jupiter's largest moons are Io, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto. There's not oh my gosh, observable with the naked eye, but you can see them with binoculars if the weather's right and you know where to look. What other moons are in the solar system beyond Earth's orbit? Mercury and Venus aren't known to have any natural satellites, though there have been reports about a moon being spotted circling Venus since the 17th century. Mars had 2 moons, Uranus 27, and Saturn. How many does it have? I can't remember off the top of my head, though I know I did know this once. I think it has more known moons than Jupiter, despite being the smaller of the 2 planets. Does it have 81? What are their names? I can't remember. Most moons are named after the gods and goddess figures from antiquity. I'm not too interested in the Greek Roman myth, but studying space got me into reading up upon these old legends too. It's all pretty interesting. But not even my musing can fully distract from how cold I am. As much as I love the planets and the moons that circle them, I'll be glad to get back inside to Sep Hiyori's hotspot. My poor fingers feel frozen. Hey Hiyori. I call to the leader of the astronomy club, who is still parked in front of the telescope. Have you had your fill? I want to take a look now. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Hiyori glances at me from over her shoulder, then pokes out her tongue in an apology. I was so caught up I forgot about you. Some seer I am, huh? I ought to look out for you more, Haru. You're my cute junior after all. I don't know if I'm all that cute. My brow furrows, but I am freezing my butt off. I bet your butt is awfully cute too. Whoa! Whoa, what? Yo, how would you know that? You never seen it. Maybe not, I can always imagine. Please don't imagine my butt. That's sexual harassment. What the hell? Oh, really? My apologies. Hiyori titters, then steps back from the telescope. She gestures towards it, dropping me a bow as she does so, like a butler. It's all yours. Feel free to take a look. Why, thank you kindly for your generosity. Bow my head and cynical smile on my face and take my space placed by the telescope. I adjust the lens to peer up at the nightly sky. I drink in the Venus, which, as Hiyori said, is very clear tonight. Or at least as clear as Venus can be, given its surface perpetually shrouded in shifting clouds of sulfuric acid. Venus' rocky surface is enveloped completely in these clouds, but I can see patches of dark and light speckled across its surface. I shift the telescope to the right, drinking in the stars that twinkle in the firmament. I'm more invested in the planets and their satellites than the stars, but the stars are pretty too. I'm content to simply gaze upon them, lost in the majesty of space. But something stops me short. I do a double take. There's something cleaving through the sky. I leave a white trail behind like a cloud of exhaust from an airplane. What could it be? A comet? Maybe a shooting star? Hey Hiyori. I turn my eye away from the telescope and look to her, my brow furrowed. Do you see that? See what? That band of white light just there. No, there. I point to the sky. My outstretched like that alien from the popular American movie. I thought the flicker I detect from this telescope might have been a figment of my imagination. It passed by so quickly after all. But I can see the light again with the naked eye. There really is a tail of white light canvassing the sky, and what's more, it seems to be getting closer. What could it be? Oh wow. Hiyori stares at the light and, raptured, her mouth falls open in a small "oh" of surprise. Her hands clutch at her front. I think this is the first time I've seen a shooting star so clearly. It is pretty. Very pretty. It is pretty, yeah. But is it really a shooting star? What else would it be? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I think it's moving it a bit too quickly for a shooting star. That's trajectory. My brow furrows. I hope I'm imagining things, but is it just me, or does it seem like it's headed in our direction? I stare at the pinprick of light, which grows bigger and more intense with every passing second. I wasn't sure of my hypothesis at first, but now I have no doubts. This star, if it really is a star, really is plummeting towards us at a speed I can't even begin to fathom. It gets closer and closer still until... Hiyori, look out! I put the transfix Hiyori to the side, hoping to rescue her from the blast zone of the falling piece of space debris and land on the university roof without a dull thud. Pain sears through my leg, short and sharp. The air forces its way through my lungs, and I gag on the crisp night air. When I glance up, my vision hazy, I can see the object still shuttling towards us. So white and bright it hurts my eyes to look at it. It's pretty, but well, I have no doubts now that it's deadly too. It'll not be able to escape its blast, so not on my injured leg, but maybe Hiyori can? That seems like a wishful thinking. On impact, this thing I'll be sure to leave behind a massive crater, but I don't want to abandon hope. You have to run. Hiyori, get out of here. What? But Haru, what about you? I'll be fine. You go on without me. Please, Hiyori. I say. But I can't finish the rest of my sentence. I feel something collide with me, knocking what air out of my lungs which still remain. Yeah! I cough, choking on nothing, my head smacking against the roof with another thud. Then everything goes black. Are you alright? Haru? What? I blink groggily, then finally, after what it seems a small eternity, opens my eyes. My head is throbbing something fierce, and Hiyori's panicky voice isn't doing much to assure to its usage. It's aching. My limbs, meanwhile, feel very heavy, my legs in particular. What in the world happened? I remember I was standing on the rooftop, looking up at the skyline, and the next... Oh, thank goodness you're alright. I was worried about you. You were out cold for ages. Really? I frown. Define ages. I can't rightly say. I was in such a state I wasn't keeping a track of the time. It felt like a long while. But now that I think about it, it may be it was only a few minutes. We're so still, though you look like a doll. Or a corpse. Hiyori shudders. Still, you're awake now? And that's all that matters. How's your dad? How's your head? Does it hurt? A bit, yeah, I feel pretty funny. I should be alright, though. Let me try to sit up. I make an attempt to sit, but, it's to little avail. What's going on? I feel alright, despite the dull throbbing in my skull when my body refused to obey me. Why can't I stand it? I've lost the use of my legs, have I? They feel disconcertingly numb, but at least I can feel them. That's to count for something right. I can see well enough, and my vision isn't blurry. As for my legs, however, I look up profile and... Huh? Who's this? A single exclamation falls from my limbs. It's only a single syllable, but it communicates my surprise better than any essay could. Now I see why my legs feel so strange. This whole situation, or so it seems, is strange in general. Greetings, Earthling, whose name I believe is Haru, and it is a pleasure to meet you, though I fear it is not under the best circumstances. I must apologize profusely for running into you. I only hope I have not caused you too many problems. There's somebody sitting on top of me, and quite a distinctive somebody at that. A woman perched on my lap, her plump thighs splayed, pinning me in place. Her skin is soothing, and her large eyes, which combined makes her look youthful. If I had to guess her age, I'd put her in the same bracket as Hiyori and I, in very late teens to be very early 20s. Maybe she's 21, 22, it's hard to say with certainty. Her hair is long and pale green, like sea foam. Sea foam. It falls over her shoulders, fluttering the cool breeze which bites through the coat and shirt. Though it is cold night, this woman has forgone practical attire. She's wearing clothes, the likes of which never seen before outside of silly sci-fi flicks and Halloween costumes. Not even sure how to describe her get-up. My aching head and generally disorientated isn't helping. But if it puts on the spot, I guess I'd say that she's... Wait, strange? We could call her strange, but we could just call her enticing. Particular though, her outfit is she is very attractive. I can't help but wonder, though she's cool, wearing a skin-tight outfit like that. Backlit by the moon as she is, with the stars twinkle beyond her, this woman looks almost ethereal, or maybe extraterrestrial. What did she say to me just now? My mind isn't working properly. That false really did a serious number on my head, and this woman's sudden inexplicable appearance makes it jump slower still. Did she call me Earthling? Then would that make her an alien? I suppose that is how I must seem to you, though I have never considered myself as such. To me, you are the alien. You and your friend. But I am on your planet now. I must abide by your customs. I am an outsider, so I'll not take any offense at being called an alien. You may call me that if you wish, if it will make things easier for you to understand. Wow, how considerate of you. Do you really think so? That makes me very happy. This is the first time I've ever been to this planet of yours, which is very lovely, by the way, and I am not entirely sure how to act. I do not fully understand the customs of your Earthlings, but I am going to try. Please do not berate me too harshly if I cause offense, though. Oh no, there's no offense taken. Honestly, I'm so stunned by this chain of events. I don't know what to say. My mouth must be working on autopilot. I'm sure this is some kind of crazy dream. But no, the alien girl, my flat feels too warm, not to mention so solid for that. Speak of the alien girl. So, what's your name? I am Anna Sanlia, Annika the 7, Crown Prince of Corvo, which is located in the Sector 9 of Anka Galaxy. Wow, that's a lot to remember, even for a space like me. I never even heard of Anka Galaxy before, Corvo. It seems there's a lot about space I don't know about, but you can just call me Anna if that's easier. I tired of the restriction of my home planet and the duties as a princess, and so decided to go on a jaunt through the galaxies to find somewhere more hospitable, I suppose you could say. I've heard of a good feeling about this humble planet of yours, so I decided to come here. I might have been a bit too eager while initiating the land sequence, however. My poor ship broke apart in your planet's atmosphere, though my power suit was able to protect me from the worst of the impact, and that the very kind considerate boy who offered himself as a shield to protect me. What? Oh, don't mention it, but I must mention it. It was very good of you to catch me as I fell from the sky. Your thoughtfulness made me heart fluttered and so hasty. Though this might sound, I believe I have to come to a decision. What? I am tired of being Corvo's princess. I would rather stay here on Earth and become your bride. Does that not sound like a wonderful idea? It's certainly an idea, but what the hell? I agree with Anna, still operating on autopilot until the last vestiges of common sense kick in. It's hard to think, though, through the fog that's swirling about in my skull. But didn't she say something about incredible just then? Wait. My brow furrows. Then, like I agreed to marry you. I've only just met you. This is insane. What the hell? Does this mean you won't marry me? Sorry, but no. I'm too young to think about marriage, and like I said on the roof, I hardly know you. You do know me, though. You know what my name is, Anna Sanlia, and that I am the Princess of Corvo. What about information could you possibly need? I don't mean to butt in, but Hiyori butts in, but for once, I appreciate it. I'm having a hard time dealing with Anna on my own. She might even be clinchier than Hiyori herself, which is saying something. You say you are an alien, yes? Yes, that's right. And you come from another planet. Indeed. Wow. Hiyori leans back on the couch, her eyes wide. That really is amazing. I always knew there were intelligent aliens and life forms out there. This really is incredible. I'm so glad to meet a fellow extraterrestrial. It's nice not being so alone. A fellow? And tilts her head That scans. Oops, my bad again. I did it the second time. Are you not an Earthling yourself, Hiyori? I have a reason to believe so. Though I have parents on this planet who raised me since I was a child, I do not think they are related to me. I have a good reason to believe I was adopted, though my parents will not confirm my theories. They always tell me not to be so fanciful, like I'm saying all this without proof. It's kind of tiring. Hiyori sighs and shakes her head. But then, enough about me. We make enough we should be talking about you. I'm really happy to meet you. We can become good friends. Oh dear. Me too. I like some companions. Now I have arrived on this planet. I have never left the Anka Galaxy, but I do have some knowledge about Earth. I have seen some of your shows and read some of your books, so I have a smattering of knowledge about your ways. Oh really? Now this is an interesting piece of news to chew on. Whoa. How were you able to get your hands on all that stuff? I had it imported. Traders make frequent stops upon this planet, or so I have heard, to buy goods which they resell in Corvo for market up prices. Scalpers, man. Scalpers. Few people can afford earthling entertainment, which is highly prized, but currency has never been an issue for me. I am the daughter of the Anake family after all. Right, so, is that how you learned Japanese? Yes, indeed. Your manga, I believe you call it, taught me a good deal. I do so love reading manga, particularly for the 4-pound ones with funny jokes. They always lifted my spirits when I felt down. I have longed since my childhood to visit the planet, which produced such amusing tales, so that I might better immerse myself in your culture. Well, that sure is. You're going to have a wonderful time in this culture. Alright everyone, that is the end of today's video everyone, so thank you everyone for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.